Well, good morning, guys. Today I want to give you a rundown of the room that I spend all my time in when I'm making music. So I'm just going to go from right, and we'll go, what's that, counterclockwise. And then, so I'll just show you exactly what's in my little home studio. So this bag in here just has some of the cables, from my performance at the elementary school here at Fort Benning. We have to put those away, but I'll put a card up right there if you guys want to check that out. So here's like my little effects slash amp stand, if you will. EVH MXR flanger, very unchained sound. I've not really used that much, only like maybe one or two videos. I still gotta do unchained, and this will definitely be the bad boy used for that. This is my first Crybaby wah, however it is no longer on the pedal board because one of the feet broke. It's got a broken foot. So he kind of just hangs out here because anytime you step on it, it wobbles. So I gotta repair that one day. This book I've used extensively when teaching myself on how to play. I'm all self-taught. I'm no scale god, but any scale, any mode, anything you need is in that book. Highly recommended. Guitar, grimoire, scales, and modes. Next, got a case for my mini rectifier, EVH lunchbox, and then my mini rectifier down there. These two, I'm going to do a comparison video one day. These two sound utterly similar and both badass. So I'm gonna knock that out here shortly. Alright, this is my toolbox. Now it looks very, very cluttered, I know. Very unorganized. But there's a method to the madness. So there's a foot switch for my Mark V. This like fretboard oil and conditioner. Super glue for when I blocked off a bridge on one of my guitars, which I'll get to. Some heavy strings, got some 8-string strings. This is what I use for most all my drop B and drop C, 10 to 52. And my 8-string I just switched from 10 to 80 now, and these things are heavy duty. So in here, mostly just miscellaneous strings and picks, and a few tools here and there, but picks, I exclusively use the Dunlop Sharp 1 1/4 millimeter Tortex picks. These things, I actually got these on accident at Guitar Center years and years ago, and I actually fell really in love with them in terms of using them all the time. So those are my picks. And here, more tools, cables, string cutters, string winders, Velcro tape for a pedal board, Allen wrenches, cloth, more Allen wrenches in there. Just like I said, this is a toolbox, so it's got anything and everything I need in here. And here, got my two microphones, my SM57 and SM58, as well as an Audio Technica, which I've really never used this dynamic microphone. It was given to me, and I don't really mess with it. And that drawer's empty. So that's my toolbox. So here is my buddy Michael Myers. I wore this and got blood all over it for the Halloween video. Woo! Spooky, I know. I miss spooky time a lot. But if you want to check that out, I'll put a card up here as well. So back in the summertime when I was learning how to record, I recorded about 99% of my guitars through this 1x12 mini rectifier cabinet. It's got vintage 30 in it, and it's a Mesa cab, so obviously it sounds good. And then I also got an EVH cab, which I really only use every once in a while. I really don't use it. It's more of a prop. So this thing I've yet to use, but it's a cigar box and a guitar. I got it for $30 at a yard sale. It's got a Bill Lawrence pickup, a dime bag pickup in the bridge, and then some kind of weird thing in the neck, or excuse me, it's got a dime bag in the bridge, no, in the neck, Bill Lawrence pickup, and then it's got some kind of something in the bridge. So maybe I'll see if I can get this thing to gent, or get some cool metal tones from it, and then I'll probably smash it because it's a piece of garbage. All right, now to the most important part of this room, the guitars. So you guys pretty much have seen all these. I've had about a lot, I don't know how many, a lot of guitars come through my house, and I've narrowed it down. These are all my guitars minus one, which I'll get to at the very end of this video. So first off, EVH Wolfgang Special Stripe Series. Top 3 favorite guitars right now. Love this thing. My Wild Audio Odin Grail. Not really digging this thing right now. I don't know. I go through phases with guitars, and right now I'm just not really digging this one. It'll come back and it'll become my favorite here in a second. But this thing has the biggest neck you'll ever see on a guitar. It's like holding literally a baseball bat. So moving on. My favorite guitar that I own, my Wolfgang USA by EVH. The coolest, smoothest guitar that I've ever played, with stainless steel frets. This thing's gonna be with me till the day I perish. So now, his cheaper younger brother is another Wolfgang Special. I played this guitar all throughout the summer. This is like what I practiced on. You can see it's kind of it got a little funky in the Georgia heat, but this is what I played heavily and exclusively when practicing in the summertime. Now, the guitar that I solely write my own music on is the Schecter Damien 8-string. This is also in the Halloween videos. You can see I still got some of the fake blood on it in certain spots. But whenever I want to write my own stuff, I solely use this guitar. This guitar is called Michael. It's his name, hence the face. Next, got my bass guitar. Now, I don't know really anything about basses or what's a good bass, but I bought this thing. It's very, very cheap. Bought it for like 150 bucks off of a musician's friend in the summer when I started writing my own stuff. And I mean, I don't know what a good bass is. I mean, all I know is a lot about guitars, but I just like the banana wood. The banana top is pretty cool. So I don't know much about basses, but this is my bass that I use when writing my own stuff. All right, now the two twins. White Boy. This guitar is set up in a quarter step down, so like very vulgar display. Very Cowboys from Hell sounding. But whenever I need like standard tuning shred or like quarter step down like Dimebag stuff, I always grab this. I did This Love and Cemetery Gates all on this guitar, and it's got some crazy low action and it sounds cool, man. But I haven't been playing them lately. I'm just not really into the shred stuff at the moment. But that changed, much like I said with my Wild Audio. I'll come back to it. And last guitar in the rack is the White Boy's brother. And this thing is just set up for metal. I blocked off the Floyd Rose here because I had it in drop. This thing's set up in drop B. And I blocked off the bridge because I didn't need a whammy bar for drop B stuff. But if you look, see like it looks dusty on the bridge. What I did was I super glued quarters and pennies in the bridge on the block of the Floyd Rose to block it off, and the super glue started leaking through and gave it like, I don't know, it looks like some kind of war paint, some scars on it around the bridge. But nonetheless, I haven't had any problems since, and I mean, this paint job is badass, man. Like metallic black, super cool. So those are the guitars. And then moving on over to the rest of the room. Alright, so this setup here, really cool setup. You know, I mean, we'll take a look at it, how badass it is. This is, again, what I used for the National Anthem performance. I got this bad boy off of reverb.com. It's a signature block signature block PV5150. It's a signature model, not the block letter. I got this thing for like $500, and I had to change out the tubes. Tubes were shot, but once I had it up and running, I mean, at first glance it doesn't look too beat up, but when you get into the nitty gritty of this thing, like, it's starting to look like it's a 20-year-old amp, 25-year-old amp. But I mean, still cool nonetheless. I love Eddie. This thing definitely sounds killer. So then it's hooked up to this 4x12 rectifier cab in great condition. Heavy as hell, about 100 pounds, 100 plus pounds, but I don't plan on using this thing for any performances here in the future, which is good because then I don't have to lug it down the flight of stairs, especially with like 1.5 arms that I'm rocking right now. So in the closet is miscellaneous stuff. Got my camera bag, some instructional DVDs, lens case, excuse me. Now this thing is a piece of junk, 5150. I'm using it for parts. Got it for $200. It still works, but like the knobs have been changed out, and then obviously the face is changed to red. It doesn't have the carrying handle, so I mean, it's kind of shot, but it's there just like as an extreme backup. I actually took out the tubes of this one and then put it in that one there, so it's just for parts. And then nothing exciting other than that. I got some extra wall foam and then a hand vacuum cleaner. Super cool, I know. So in here I got some notes for when I'm programming my drums. You know, there's some there, more drums, and then the E major scale. I was learning the E major scale this summer and I threw that up there. Just like learning, like, I don't know, every single possible, never mind, not important. But with the drum program and stuff, these changed. I mean, I got like 2 or 3 back here and then 2 or 3 back here. Basically, after every time I get better and better with my recordings, and when I do, I write it down what I did, because my old stuff kind of sounded like crap. And slowly but surely, I'm getting better at it. It's all self-taught stuff, so I'm getting the hang of it. And I think I've got it down now. This is my mic stand with the pop-up screen. Do all my vocals on that when I yell into a microphone, you know. This flag is very, very sentimental. Second most sentimental value thing in here. This flag is the same flag that's in these pictures, and this flag was overseas with me all of 2016 when I was over there. So this flag was with me when I was stationed in Germany, when I was overseas, deployed, and then is now made its way back to Columbus, Georgia, here at Fort Benning. So that flag is very, very cool, and like I said, very sentimental value to me. Alright, so this is where I sit and this is where I work. Just a standard old MacBook. I eventually needed to upgrade it because storage has always been an issue with that thing. And you know, I eventually need to get something with a little more room, because after every project I almost have to throw it on my external hard drive and or scrap it and dump it, so kind of a hassle. But I feel really bad for it. I push that thing pretty hard, but it gets the job done. 2 studio monitors. I don't even know what they are. I know they weren't very expensive, and I know they're nothing to brag about, but I just need something as a general reference. Again, much like my MacBook, one day it will be upgraded. Here's like my little nerd spot. Like, this is like a car ride portable DVD player, the remote, and then this is, you know, one of those classic notebooks. And here's like a note card. I'm working on something right now, and then a military map marker because I could never find an actual pen. But basically, a lot of times when I'm practicing and warming up, I'll throw in an instructional DVD and sit here and play. And then once I'm warm, then I'll do my own thing. Kind of just like, you know, teach. Like I said, it's all self-taught. It's what I do to just get better. So from here, another thing needs to be upgraded eventually. Focusrite solo interface. Nothing to brag about. I know. Got it. USB interface. But it's what I started with, and he still does the job. And I got external hard drive for my MacBook. My Atlanta Institute of Music and Technology acceptance letter. That's cool. And then some more Atlanta Institute of Music stuff. Chord reference book. Arpeggio book. Just, you know, more lesson stuff. Next is something, an awesome piece of equipment which I've just started to use. It's the Rivera Mini Rock Rack. Basically, it's a load box and a speaker cab simulator. Excuse me. Where you can plug in up to like 300 watts of power and run it into an interface and into your computer. So basically, you can record an amp and have it simulated being played through a cabinet without actually having a mic'd up cab. So the reason why I got that is because I got this guy, this bad boy, which I just used on my Ice Cream Man video. By Van Halen. All the guitar was used on this thing, and this is my favorite amp at the moment. Nah, I don't know, it goes back and forth between these two, but this amp is like, I mean, I think I like the look of this thing more than the sound. I mean, granted, it's kind of been custom made, and it's not originally supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be white. It's originally supposed to look like that, but this is a PV5150 block letter, original OG, you know, 92 model of this thing, and it looks pretty good, man. For considering it being as old as I am, it looks pretty badass. So that's this head. I love this thing. So then, my amp that I've basically built my channel on, I've done about 70-80% of all my guitars have come through this. I've done, you know, all the Lamb of God stuff, the SS Georgie, my own recording went through this. Just like everything goes through this head, and it's so versatile. And again, here we go with the nostalgia factor. My dad had an old Mesa Boogie back when I was a kid, and I can't even remember what it was. It was a little combo head, but basically, this amp has that similar sound that reminds me of that. And, you know, so kind of like when I play this thing, kind of reminds me of him. And kind of a stretch kind of way, but yeah. So I've been using this one as of late. This is running into the Rock Rack. And this is the effects loop for my pedal board, which is down there. So this is my pedal board. This is what I've had set up for, I don't know, 6 months maybe. I haven't really changed it. Kirk Hammett, excuse me. Wah pedal, EVH, MXR Phase 90, TC Electronic, Polytune. This thing I hate so much. I hate this thing, this Boss NS2, because if you roll it all the way with a threshold at max, cuts off the low or the high end and just like chops off all sustain. However, you roll it back, and then you got this crazy feedback, and then after about a second or two, then it cuts on. So I need to find maybe like a noise decimator, or maybe I was thinking of the Precision Drive from Horizon Devices, Misha Mansour pedal, and then I wouldn't need to use this thing, which does get the job done. I like it a lot. I love Zach Wild, the Berserker Overdrive. Just using the boost setting, you know, volume up, gain down, and then I just give it a little tone just for like some lead stuff. And then I love this pedal a lot, the Black Label Chorus, Zakk Wylde chorus pedal from MXR. This thing is badass. I use this on Pound Cake by Van Halen a lot. I use that pedal. And just anytime I want to fatten up, you know, like a solo or a lead or something. Miracle Man too. I just recently did Miracle Man by Ozzy. I use that thing. And then it's all powered by MXR Isobrick. And then all this mess, you know, they all have functions. They all have places they go and shit. So then lastly, I've talked about this guitar a bunch, but this guitar actually doesn't even stay in this room. It stays in my bedroom every night because it's very sentimental, and I don't know, I like to keep it where I know it's safe, where I could, you know, lock it up and make sure I don't lose it. This is my dad's guitar. He gave it to me for Christmas in 2012, so about 5 years ago, and he has since passed away. So this thing, definitely, every time I look at it, I can, you know, I can feel his presence. I think about him all the time, and, you know, definitely the most sentimental value thing I own, and then that would be number 2. But yeah, this is my dad's guitar, and miss him every day. So that's my studio, guys. That's what I got in 2017. This video is just one, because I'm about to move, get out of the Army, so this room will not be here anymore. And 2, it's just, this is a reference point for the beginning of my studios that I'm gonna be having here, you know, as I become a professional musician, as I'm going to school and transferring out of the Army. So thanks for watching, guys. That's all my gear. Thanks for geeking out with me, and I'll see you guys soon. Later.